So, I just got back from Lilo and Stitch 3D. I'll tell you a little bit about the movie itself and about the 3D quality. Of course, I will virtually always say that I'd rather see the 3D version, and that's still the case with this movie. But that being said, this is a surprisingly weak and even inaccurate conversion. I saw it in a good theater. The projection was bright, sharp, and crisp. And a lot of people, maybe that don't know a whole lot about 3D, might confuse all those things and say that the 3D was bad when really some other element of the visuals or the presentation was bad. But I can tell the difference. We're talking about specific things in the conversion itself. For one thing, the range of parallax was very shallow. They stepped it up to possibly medium on a handful of shots, but by and large, the discrepancies between layers was extremely minimal. I wouldn't say it's Jurassic World 2 and 3 bad, but it is remarkably close. And I actually saw a number of conversion errors, rotoscoping errors, like around people's heads and faces and hair that were more glaring than usual, around objects with patterns, things like that show up, or when one layer is out of focus, things that show up more easily when it's not done to a T. And even blades of grass, I noticed like the top of part one blowing was melted to the background and the front was sticking out. So almost like things you'd see in an AI conversion that was unedited at some points. I'm not saying it was, because obviously a lot of manual work was done, of course, and it's a decent conversion. It's definitely the preferred way to see it, but it was not great. I might go out on a limb here, but I would guarantee that iPop 3D, given a fraction of the budget, would do a much better job, and given an attention-grabbing 3D presentation, besides being maybe even more accurate if given the time and budget. So anyway, that's about the 3D itself. Now, as far as the movie, if you want to be completely spoiler-free, maybe put this in your watch list for later. If you don't care that much, really a lot won't be given away, because it is, of course, a remake of the film from over 20 years ago. And they did tweak a few things, add some things. Stitch is Stitch. That is the constant. Basically the same character, basically the same design, same voice. The casting of Nani, wasn't crazy about her. She worked. Lilo, she was adorable. I liked her casting. A wide emotional range, very cute, and not child actory, if you know what I mean. In fact, Nani, if anyone was child actory, Nani almost seemed like a Disney Channel actor, more so than Lilo did. The character of the alien scientist who developed Stitch, I forget his name, but he's the one with the multiple eyes, and he's a big round guy, and he's played in this movie by Zach Snuffleupagus, or whatever his name is. That character was altered. I mean, it is largely the same up to a point, but in this movie, they made him more like a psychopathic, irredeemable villain. So, quite different. That took a darker turn. They had a additional actress cast for the role of the social worker instead of the CIA agent Bubbles impersonating that worker all the time. That happened later on. And speaking of the CIA agent, his meeting with the Galactic Councilwoman at the very end, it also occurred in the remake, except they did have a handshake and just like trust each other very quickly. Rather, she trusts him, which seems a little rash. But in the original, you get that extra detail about how they already met before in Roswell in the 70s. You've also got a plot element about this gun that makes portals. Think portals like that you see in Sonic or Monsters Inc. A lot of physical play with those portals that adds to the length of the movie and adds some more little interest. Plus, one thing I did like that was that they added more to the story element that was mentioned in the original about Stitch not being able to survive in water, something about his density. They didn't really expand more on that too much in the original, but this one they did, and that was a key part in the dramatic conclusion. So I did like that they did that. And then of course you've got the Elvis music, and you've got those pretty Hawaiian songs from the children's choir, including the one in the surfing scene, which is a classic. So by and large, yeah, I'd still see it in 3D, even if the 3D isn't anything to write home about, especially if you have a good theater that's bright, like a premium theater, if possible, or just a theater that does it right. I know those are harder to come by today. But if you do end up missing it, it's not a major loss. See you next time.